I don't know. I'll pay for her.
What?
Oh, she knows that.
Hang on, let me get up out of your way. Get out of your space. Anybody know any good winter jokes? Oh, Professor Casper, do you have? Yeah, I heard one the other day. You know what happens when a polar bear sits on the ice too long? He gets Polaroids. Okay, go ahead. It doesn't make any sense.
Polaroids are a picture.
Hemorrhoids. The
I
polar
was thinking
bear.
that too, but
Yeah, it's not really funny, but it's
a
that's
Polaroid's already.
yeah, you're just like my kids, my real kids. Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
Why is
What
he
do you
doing
call
that?
it?
Oh,
Fake
you
news.
know, except for on here, then it goes on there. Okay. All right, I'm gonna do it again.
My repertoire.
Okay, my name's Casey. I'm a senior finance major. We're gonna present tonight on motivation. We have Allie Wilson, Tori Zacchio, Valerie Russo, and Mike Rose, and we're all gonna be presenting on different theories and methods of motivation. Okay, we're gonna be presenting on motivation in the workplace, some key factors of motivation, some methods called carrot and stick method, the Herzberg two-factor theory, the progression of job withdrawal, Hawthorne's studies of motivation, theories of job dissatisfaction, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the McGregor theory, and retention strategies. So the difference between a motive and a motivation is a motive is an impulse that causes a person to act a certain way, where a motivation is an internal process that makes a person move towards a goal. So two theories that explain this are drive reduction and Maslow's theory of hierarchy of needs. So next we have some motivators in people's lives. So obviously money and rewards are a big motivator. Obviously everybody likes to receive a gift from doing something good. The desire to be the best. For example, Muhammad Ali tried his very hardest to be the best like champion there could be, and that's what drove him. And obviously helping others, you get a sense of good feeling, a feeling of good when you help someone else. Power and fame. A good example is Donald Trump, a politician. He does everything in his life to be powerful and famous, and that's what drives him. Recognition. Just when people recognize that you're doing something good, and passion, whether it be for someone you love or a sport you love, you're willing to like lose sleep over stuff like that. So some things that motivate me in life are obviously my family, my dogs. Money is a good motivator. Obviously, everybody likes to make money. Happiness is what I want to get out of life. Traveling, my passion of playing field hockey, and helping others. So at the top, my best friend's dad has MS, and every year we do like a mud run for him. So next we have
You do a mud run?
yeah.
I love mud runs.
We have intrinsic motivation versus extrinsic motivation. And intrinsic is the motivation to act for the sake of the activity alone, such as pride, interest, curiosity, or achievement. It comes from within and you're not wanting a reward for it. An example would be somebody who writes a novel because they're interested in writing. And then a workplace example would be the pursuit of knowledge. So this is actually the strongest motivation for employees, and they want to learn more about their specific career to make themselves better, and they're just actually interested in that, and it motivates them to do that other than like getting paid more because you are learning more. So extrinsic motivation would be the motivation for external rewards such as like grades, punishment, praise, money, or recognition. Again, with the novel example, you would be writing novels because you want to become published and make money for your novels, not because you have the interest of writing it. And like a workplace example would be you gain further certification, becoming from a staff accountant to a CPA to get like more money. So how to motivate employees in a workplace? Obviously, you want your workplace to be a pleasant place to be. Those pictures up there are Google. They have like slides and like fun things in their office. Nobody wants to go to work where it's like boring and dingy and there's no color. So if you're gonna, that's where you spend most of your time. Next, we have employee rewards. So you can offer incentives or rewards, and you obviously that motivates your employees. So like monetary rewards, we have a bump up in salary, bonuses, stock options, or paid time off. Or incentives, you can do things like job security, have a work-life balance. Everybody loves that. Training or even career development. Giving your employees room to grow is actually the most important motivation that people say. When you take a job, you obviously want to, not everybody, but most people want to gradually move up in the company and not stay at the same position that they originally got. Of course, higher position equals higher pay, but employees want to feel like trusted and respected and important and wanted. Next, we have feedback. This makes the giver and the receiver feel great, and in times of significant challenge and change, recognizing people for their contributions can make them really feel engaged in the company. Also, this helps employee loyalty when they know that they're being recognized for stuff that they're doing, and it helps when you make it personal. Flexible scheduling is my favorite motivator for working. So this appears to be the best organization culture where employees feel free to request flexibility. Life happens and stuff comes up, and it's not easy to work for a company where like they're going to be mad at you if you have to call out or you have to change what your plans were. So they're most likely to be loyal. Okay, so everyone's favorite one is offering free food in the workplace. Who doesn't love free food? But most surveys point out that it's the little things that create employee interest and love for their company. And obviously, everybody likes free lunch or even free snacks. And it also creates a happier workplace because employees are more likely to talk to each other over food. Achievements, this is closely related to the rewards. This Most employees believe that status is much more than money, so employees are motivated by knowing they're being recognized for what they're doing and providing for the company. This increases employee loyalty, enhances performance, and generates success in the workplace. So my experience personally with motivation, I'm an intern for Bayada Home Healthcare in their finance reimbursement office, and they really do try their hardest to keep all of their employees motivated. Even as an intern, I still get quarterly bonuses and I got a Christmas bonus. So that's nice because I don't really work that often. Also, I don't know if anybody saw on the news, the owner of the company gave away $20 million to all of his employees for Thanksgiving. So I got like a nice check out of that too.
You had $20 million?
I didn't get $20 million, but they split up. And Bayada also, for the free food aspect, they celebrate every National Food Day. So like National Cookie Day, they gave out food, cookies all day long, Watermelon Day, like everything. And they always do what? An oatmeal day? They might have, but I wasn't there for that one. But why it's important to motivate employees is that obviously you need to motivate your employees to keep company goals, but the most important thing is that you increase employee commitment and improve employee satisfaction. You always want your employees to be happy because without your employees, you really wouldn't have a company. So now that you know a little bit about motivation, Allie can explain to you the carrot and stick method and the Herzberg two-factor theory.
Hello, everyone. I'm Allie Wilson. I'm a senior here, finance major. I'm from North Jersey. This is kind of far. I'm going to be talking about the carrot and stick method and Herzberg's two-factor theory. So I'm going to start by talking about what motivates me. So my main motivator is my dog, Layla. She's my best buddy. My family in the middle. Vacation, my family loves to go and fun vacations every year. Last winter we went to Cabo and it was the most fun I've ever had. We go with our family, best friends, the Chesneys, and always great. I've been working since the day I could get a job, and being motivated at work sometimes came as a struggle. I worked in many different industries, and the motivation I needed for each job to be different. Above are some of the places that I've worked. I've worked as a daycare instructor, a barista, a bartender, a cashier, and manager at all different companies. So the carrot and stick method is used in businesses today, and the stick approach refers to poking and prodding to get employees to do something, where the carrot approach refers to offering some reward or incentive to motivate the employees. So the stick approach takes a punitive look at retention, and we know this may motivate for a short period of time, where the carrot approach takes a more positive approach. The carrot approach, some examples of it could be if you increase your sales by 10%, you'll receive a bonus. And if production increases by 10%, the entire team will receive an extra day off next month. So I have experienced this in my life while working at a children's hair salon called Snippets in Rockaway, New Jersey. So if you recommend an employee for the job, you receive $250 if they get hired. And then if they stay with the company for 6 months, you'll receive another $250. So get some good money for, let's say you want to work with your friend. Next, we have the stick approach. So some examples of this would be if you don't increase your sales by 10%, you'll be fired. Or if everyone will take a pay cut if you don't produce 50% more than you are currently producing. So I've experienced this while working as a bartender. So I work at Maria Bonita's. I'm from Hackettstown, New Jersey, so it's just a little local bar restaurant there. So if you don't stay attentive to customers, they'll leave or become unhappy, resulting in bad tip. As a waitress, server of any kind, most of your money comes from tips. I claim all my tips, so it gets taken out of my paycheck. So to recap, this carrot method is a way to use positive reinforcement to motivate your employees. If you do what needs to be done, a reward of some kind will be given. And on the other hand, the stick method is a way to use negative reinforcement to motivate employees to push themselves harder to do what needs to be done. Next, we have the Herzberg's two-factor theory. So these are based upon his studies in the work environment that cause employees to be pleased or displeased in their position. From this, he developed the motivation hygiene theory. So he said that the things that satisfied employees were motivators, while the dissatisfiers were hygiene factors. He further said the hygiene factors are not necessarily motivators, but if not present in the workplace, they would actually cause demotivation. And in other words, the hygiene factors are expected and assumed, while they might not necessarily motivate. So his research shows the following as the top 6 motivation factors. So we have achievement, recognition, the work itself, responsibility, advancement, and growth. So to go a little bit further into this, achievement is like when you achieve something, you get a sense of satisfaction, making you want to achieve again. Recognition is that when like nothing is better than when you work really hard for something and someone's like, wow, you did a great job, and you feel appreciated for what you've done. The work itself is when you enjoy what you're enjoying what you're doing. It feels less like work and becomes more fun. So responsibility is when you motivate others, you don't want to let others down. So I've always been motivated by achievement. After achieving a goal, I feel invincible and want to keep doing better and better. When I get a good grade in class, I want to keep doing better and get better grades. So the top 6 hygiene factors were company policies, supervision, relationship with managers, work conditions, salaries, and relationship with peers. So for company policies, if you don't like the policies your company has, you might not be happy. For supervision, if you don't get along with your supervisor, it'll put you in a bad mood, and they might have you be doing like dirty work or something like that. Same with your relationship with managers. If you don't have a strong relationship with your manager, you won't be able to function properly and get tasks done on time. If your work conditions are not up to your standard, you'll be more focused on what needs to be changed in the work itself. If salary, everyone expects fair pay, but it's not until like programs are installed to help employees move forward. So going off salary, I currently work at the Barnes & Noble Cafe, and I work like 3 to 5 days a week. And I enjoy my coworkers, the environment's fun, but I have to work 7 to 1, and I do not wake up early, so I essentially resent my job. In comparison to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the motivators apply to self-actualization and esteem of self and others, while the hygiene factors apply to belonging and love, safety, security, and basic physiological needs. We'll hear more about that later. And then just to recap everything, the motivation factors include achievement, recognition, the work itself, responsibility, advancement, and growth, and the hygiene factors are company policies, supervision, relationship with managers, work conditions, salary, and relationship with peers. Next, we have Tori.
So hi, I'm Tori. I'm a senior accounting major here at Rowan, and I'm going to be talking about the progression of job withdrawal and Hawthorne study. And I have a little quote up here just to keep you motivated, basically talking about how you believe in stand in your whole life so you can believe in yourself. And throughout the next few slides, I'll go into depth about this two topics. First is the progression of job withdrawal, and there's four different steps. So it's employees become dissatisfied, they have a behavior change. Next, there's a physical withdrawal, and last, psychological withdrawal. And in the next few slides, I'll go into each four of those into more depth. So first, the employee becomes dissatisfied, and although people are really motivated by money, it's not always about their pay rate. The main reason I researched was management. If your management, your supervisors are giving you a high workload, then you're not going to be happy. For example, if you're treated like you're unwanted, you're not going to want to be motivated to do the work that they want you to do. Next is behavior change. So obviously, it could be any type of behavior change. You become lazy, you become tired, but it also means you're starting to apply to other jobs. You're losing interest in the company you're working for. You're then going to upper management, who is people above your own supervisor. An example I thought of was freshman year of college, you're always dressing really nice for class, and then senior year, you're going to class dressing really comfortable. And then there's physical withdrawal, which is when you're being late to work, you're quitting your job, you're absent from work, or then if it's not one of those three, you're ending up getting fired. And then relating it to school, I thought of how beginning of the semester, you're always showing up to class, and towards the end, you're skipping a lot. And the last one of the four of those is psychological withdrawal. So if it's not, you physically can't leave it, then it's when you're isolating yourself from the team you're working with. And if you are doing work for them, it's very useless and you're not committed to any of the things that you have to do for the company. So a personal example is I'm an intern, an audit intern at HFA. And in the beginning, I was very stuck. I didn't know what to do. I basically stared at my computer for 8.5 hours a day doing homework, really doing nothing. They didn't teach me much. But next semester, I'm continuing my job. And the reasoning of that is because what I'm doing now is I'm doing school districts auditing, and they offered me a nonprofit, and to me that's something I'm more interested in. And I'm not going to be working down near Glassboro. I'm going to be in your home, and I live near a beach, and that just makes me happier. So I'm motivated to want to be home. And I'm motivated at most at work when it was towards the end of the semester. Throughout the whole semester, I was traveling almost like an hour and a half every 2 days a week to get to different locations. But towards the end, I was at the office more completing the testing that I had to do. And upper management are people who stay at the office, so they started to notice my work and compliment me, which motivated me. And now I'll talk about Hawthorne Studies, which was by Elton Mayo at the Western Electric Hawthorne Works, and he conducted to see if lighting and break times was like a way to motivate people instead of money. And one of the first studies this was one of the first studies that looked at motivation. And he found out that the difference in lighting, break times, food, and whatever it wasn't really a big factor in motivating people. It was when the researchers were there, that's who gave them the attention. And once the employees had attention from other people, that motivated them to do better. And this was supposed to last 1 year, but ended up lasting for 5. People work for a purpose, so especially to me, it's not always about money. It's more about satisfaction of doing excellent work. It's when you're doing something really great and you're receiving compliments, your recognition, and then it like inspires you to want to move up into the company, gain more power, and give you a title. So to recap on Hawthorne Studies, it showed recognition, communication, group activity, and interest in its workers is what motivated people the most. It wasn't really about if they got a half-hour break as opposed to an hour. It was really just having people watch them is what motivated them to continue to work. And I think management is important because it's really being a leader and helping and teaching the material you have to do. If your manager or supervisor believes in you, that they're going to be complimenting you and it's going to give you the desire to want to continue to learn and grow with the company. My internship, I was really interested in learning about they were interested in learning about me outside of work, not so much of teaching me the materials, which was really nice. And to be a better manager, I think you have to listen to your employees, not so much just be strict with them and tell them what to do. I think it's important to be open to new ideas and let the employees know that you're there for them and motivate them every day. like let them know that you see potential in them and that will continue to push them to do their best. So what motivates me is my family. Um, I'm one of six, so there's a lot of us. To the left, that's five of us. To the right is my one brother who's missing, me, my parents, and of course my dog. They're the people who really motivate me. All my siblings are older, they're very successful, so I hope to grow up to be like them. And most importantly, what motivates me are my two nieces. So the older one is Emily, and the younger one is Lila. And Emily was born when I was in fifth grade. So I kind of like, she grew up as having me as her role model and almost like her best friend. So I kind of like show them to have a great work ethic, to love what you do. And to the right, that's my new nephew and my niece. And just like some advice I have to keep you guys motivated is to always enjoy your job, push for what you deserve. If you know you deserve better, definitely show your company that you do deserve better. Stay positive, always have a positive mindset, and do what motivates you. And my quote says, when you feel like quitting, think about why you started. And just to recap on what I talked about, Hawthorne studies prove the attention to the employees increase motivation, just to show people that you care. And the 5 stages of job withdrawal, when your behavior changes, start to make a change in your needs at work. And my quote ends with, don't stop when you're tired, stop when you're done. So now I'm going to pass it over to Valerie.
Hi everyone, I'm Valerie. I'm a junior and I'm an HR management major. Today I'm going to be talking to you about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and theories of job satisfaction. So in 1943, Abraham Maslow created the hierarchy of needs. It was developed to explain human motivation in 5 distinct levels, starting with physiological and working its way up through safety needs, social needs, esteem needs, and finally self-actualization. An individual can only move up the pyramid once they have established or achieved the previous levels needed. As one level is satisfied, it will no longer be a motivator. These 5 needs are then split up into 3 groups of needs. Physiological and safety needs are basic needs. Social and esteem needs are psychological needs, and self-actualization is a self-fulfillment need. Shown in the pyramid, it shows all of it split up. So then physiological needs are our most basic needs. They make up all that is necessary to survive and sustain a person's life and are the minimum requirements of survival itself. These include food, air, water, shelter, sleep, and space. Now, applying physiological needs to an organization, there are a lot of things that can contribute to it. A nice place to work in, financial compensation, healthcare benefits, and clean water are only some of the things that can help an employee meet those basic needs. Once a person's physiological needs are met, safety needs come into effect. These needs can include personal safety, financial safety, health and well-being, and safety nets. Safety needs can manifest itself through employees feeling physically safe in their work environment as well as job security. Social needs are also known as love and belonging needs. Once safety needs are met, according to Maslow, people need to feel a sense of love and belonging. He believed deficiencies in this area could cause individuals to struggle in the formation and maintenance of significant relationships such as friendships, intimacy, and affection of others. Social needs may be met through the involvement of clubs, work colleagues, and organizations. Some social connections may be met through family and even partners. Lack of social interaction can lead to social anxiety, depression, and loneliness. Self-esteem requires an individual to have self-respect as well as respect from those around them. This may be through their achievements, social status achieved, or mastery within a specific field. It gives a sense of value and contribution. Lack of esteem can lead to people developing an inferiority complex and desire to seek glory or fame. Maslow believed there was two versions of self-esteem. The lower version of esteem seeks respect from others through status and prestige. The higher version involves individuals seeking self-respect through strength, independence, freedom, and self-confidence. Self-actualization has been defined as the final level of psychological development for people and can be achieved when all the basic and mental needs are fulfilled first. It also described as self-discovery, self-realization, self-exploration, and self-reflection. Maslow believed this was a stage of growth rather than a driving force, and people reach this stage once previous stages are complete. It is a desire to accomplish everything an individual can and to be the most they can be. After looking at each level of the hierarchy of needs, I applied it to myself. Currently, I feel that I have accomplished my physiological and safety needs here at Rowan and at home. I feel safe in both areas and I am supplied with food, water, and housing. For my psychological needs, with social needs, I have fulfilled them with family and friends. My STEAM needs have been fulfilled by taking classes and pursuing a major. Over the summer, I had an internship, and my psychological needs were fulfilled by meeting other college students and creating connections within the organization. It was also fulfilled with the experience I gained from it. For this internship, I showed up early to create and run the internship program. I also created the employee engagements for the summer. The one employee engagement I ran was an ice cream social. It turned out to be great, and I feel as though I had reached the final level of needs through this. Overall, in life, I don't believe I have reached this final step. Theories of job dissatisfaction. There are a number of theories that attempt to describe what makes a satisfied employee versus an unsatisfied employee. Satisfied employees follow these theories. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which I just described, Hertzberg's motivator theory, job characteristic model, and dispositional approach. And that's it for my section. So Mike will be talking to you about McGregor theory and retention strategy.
So what's going on, guys? My name is Mike Rose. I am a senior marketing major here at Rowan University, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about the importance of employee retention and some of the employee retention strategies. Then I'm also going to get into the McGregor theory and the two parts of the McGregor theory. So first off, it was developed in 1960 by Douglas McGregor, and it is a leadership theory about organization and management in which two opposing perceptions about people are represented. And there are two types of this theory. There's theory X and theory Y. So I'm going to talk about theory X first. Theory X is a traditional view of management. So basically it says that people are naturally lazy, they have no motivation, self-motivation or ambition, and they prefer to be supervised at work. And this is an example of an authoritarian leadership skill where the leader has full control over the team. The motivation for employees with Theory X is based off of financial incentives and punishment. So according to this theory, people need to be constantly monitored at work so they achieve the tasks they need to achieve and they stay on track. And they do not want to take any responsibility for their work. So it's like micromanaging. So I think this is an awful theory, to be honest. On the other hand, Theory Y is a more optimistic opinion about the employees. This theory assumes that people are happy to work, they're self-motivated, they like challenges, and they like making decisions, and they need little direction. So this is definitely a better theory in my opinion. And this results in a democratic leadership style where employees have more of a say, and they're allowed to collaborate and work as a team. And encouragement and reward are the two types of motivation with this strategy, instead of controlling and punishment. And today, this is the most popular form of management. So I have a personal example with Theory Y. I worked at a party company over the summer called Party Perfect, and our managers would just let us. He would make a team of 3 or 4 of us, and we'd be sent out. And we'd be responsible to like set up the rides, make sure the rides were going smoothly, and it wasn't like micromanaging. As long as we got everything set up and everything was going smoothly, we were allowed to do whatever we want. So it was awesome. But next, I want to talk about some of the employee retention strategies. Retaining top employees is important for a company, for maintaining institutional knowledge, high morale, satisfied customers, and sales growth. On the other hand, employee turnover is very detrimental to a company because it limits productivity and it also costs a lot more and uses a lot more resources. So the first important retention strategy I'm going to talk about is to invest in employees' professional developments, which means providing employees with skills and knowledge to further their professional careers and showing that the company actually does care about them. The next one is to establish clear expectations and policies. So employees might become frustrated if they don't know what the goal is and they're just confused about what to do. The third one is to offer benefit packages and to enhance their well-being. So this includes like affordable healthcare, life insurance, sick leave, vacation time, family leave, and retirement savings. And then the fourth one is to encourage open communication. So it's important to listen to your employees' ideas, listen to their grievances, and also listen to their problems so you know what to do better. The fifth one is to make sure your company or your employees feel valued. So ways of doing this are to giving them bonuses, raises, promotions, paid time off, and gifts based off how well they're doing. And then the sixth one is to not overburden your employees. You don't want to overwork them. Research actually shows if you give them more time off, they'll be more productive when they're working. The seventh one is to provide employees with meaningful work, so work that will actually make a difference with the company and in the community, like a noticeable difference. And then finally, understand why employees stay. So talk to your employees, make sure they're happy. If they're not happy, see what you can do to make them happy. So an example I have of failed customer retention is when I worked at ShopRite in high school. They were really understaffed and they were all just high school employees. So like we would work right when we got out of school, right to closing every day. And it started like interfering with our schoolwork. So we actually had 4 people quit within a 2-week span. So it's definitely not the way to retain employees. So what motivates me personally? Obviously my family. Like I want to make my family proud. I want to be successful for my family, and that includes my friends as well. But when it relates to work, like at Party Perfect, we do get tips from customers time to time, depending on how well we are, like how well we do our job. So that's definitely a big motivational factor. And then this quote is, I think, one of the best motivational quotes. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Wayne Gretzky, because it applies to real life too. Like if you don't reach outside your comfort zone and you don't take chances, then you probably won't be as successful as someone who does. And then just to recap everything, Casey talked about the top 6 motivational factors. So offering rewards, giving employees room to grow, sharing positive feedback, offering flexible scheduling, offering food in the workplace, and then recognizing achievements, like the top ones. And then Allie went on to talk about the carrot and stick method, which was like a motivational theory to elicit a desired behavior through rewards, usually financial rewards, monetary rewards, and then punishment. And then she also got into the Herzberg 2 factors, which was hygiene, so like pay, benefits, and job security, and then motivational factors like recognition. Tori then talked about the progressions of job withdrawal. So an employee would become dissatisfied and then their behavior would start to change. Then they experience physical withdrawal and then psychological withdrawal. And then the Hawthorne studies, which stated that workers were more responsive to like social factors like who they worked with and how their manager was involved with their work. And then finally, Valerie talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, so psychological, safety, love and belonging, esteem, and then self-actualization. And then she ended with the theories of job satisfaction. So if you're not paying your customer or your employees, you don't give them job freedom, then they won't be successful. And that is it.
Well done.
Thanks.